everyone, it is your boy Jack here, and in today's video I'm going to be unboxing this. Boom! The March 2020 comic boxer subscription box. It is here. I got it yesterday, but by the time you see this video I probably got it, like, it probably came out like 2 weeks after you saw this. That's when I got it, but yeah. Besides that though, if you have not seen or don't know about what the comic box or subscription box is, it's a subscription box dedicated to dedicated for people who like and read comics. In this box you get about 5 to 6 different comics. They range from like your hype beast comics, like last month we got Thor issue #1. You also have your sort of variants or Goodreads, or like your variant comics or your store exclusives. Like last month we got or a couple months ago I think, we got the Vampironica Spiderman #1, a homage cover. I'll have that on screen right here. And lastly but not least, there is the sort of underrated Goodreads comics. So comics that you don't like, that are in the box because they're not really that hyped up, but they're sort of underrated and they have these really great stories. So yeah, besides that, if you're interested in getting the comic box or subscription box, feel free to check the description down below. I'll leave all the pricing and information down there. Let's unbox this box. So once you cut the tape, open up the box, this is what you see. You got the bubble wrap, which I'm popping, and then you got the comics in here. Oh, and there's some like bonus bubble wrap as well, right here. So yeah. Before we get into the comics, I meant to mention this earlier and everything, but some of the comics I'm sort of hoping that are in this box are Wolverine #1, X-Men or Fantastic Four #1, Falcon and Winter Soldier #1, or Guardians of the Galaxy, the Al Ewing's run on it and everything. That, or even the Harley Quinn's Birds of Prey, I'd be interested in that. Or the Deceased Unkillables, and lastly but not least, the Leviathan Dawn. Those are the only ones that I know that came out around February and everything, where most of these comics will probably come from. So yeah, that's those are the comics that I think are going to be in this box, but let's take a look at them right now. So comic #1 here, it is this one. Boom. Ooh, okay, this is fancy. This looks like a Spider-Man one. I like the cover, it's pretty fancy. Let's take a look. Oh, okay. So this is Gwen Stacy, issue #1. This is a variant edition, one of the variants. This is probably a lower priced variant, meaning that like this variant isn't like, it's not like it's obviously not a Virgin variant with the title still on there, but it's like, it's not, it may be worth a bit more down the line and everything. But I like this comic, it's a really cool comic. I like that cover and everything. Gwen Stacy, this is one comic I didn't hear about and everything, so I'm excited to dive into this. The only thing that sort of has me interested in it to a certain extent is just because of the rumors flying around about Spider-Man 3 and everything lately. So yeah, that's comic #1. Comic #2 here is this one. Ooh, okay, I'm excited about this one. This is Spider Noir, issue #1. This got me excited. I saw this and I'm like, okay, I'm sort of interested in this. And one of the things in this box is that they always have like a Spider-Man comic in it. And this is really, really cool to see that and everything. Spider-Man, Spider Noir. I think this is one of all the universes in the Spider-Man Into the Spiderverse movie, this is the one where like I want to see it. Like this is the one where I'm like, this is probably the most interesting and everything. I love this cover. Let's take a look. So yeah, this is Spider-Man Noir. It is rated T+ for teen. It has this like 50s nostalgic vibe and everything. And yeah, ooh, I love this cover. Oh my god, this cover is so great. Oh my gosh, I love this cover. This is like got me so hyped about it. Like, oh, this just looks so cool. Like it has this like sort of like retro Stranger Things kind of vibe, and I'm liking that and I'm supporting it. So yeah, probably favorite comic right now. It's nice to have a really cool Spider-Man comic there. Moving forward to the next one here, comic #3 of 5, because we only have 5 in this month's box. It is this one. Boom. Ooh, okay, this is a pretty cool cover. So this is Flash, obviously. He is sitting on a throne and everything, being electrified, like shooting, like being like Thor, shooting the electric bolts out of himself and everything. Let's take a look though. So this is DC's Flash Forward issue number 6, and everything. This is a variant cover. It's priced at $3.99. Ooh, okay. So this is sort of continuing this. This is an interesting thing about the cover. I think in last month's box we got a Lee In-Hyuk variant, and this is as well as a Lee In-Hyuk variant. I don't know why. I'm collecting all these Lee In-Hyuk variants. But mind you, the Comic Tom subscription box had like a Lee In-Hyuk, and I think the next one has one too, like the January and the February. So yeah, this is really cool though. I like Lee In-Hyuk. I like this kind of variant. I'm pretty sure this is sort of like a Virgin variant and everything. But yeah, didn't really expect any kind of comics like this in this box and everything. But I'm excited. I'm excited to know why in the recap section this was chosen. But yeah. Moving forward to the last 2 comics here, there is this one. Ooh, okay. I definitely don't recognize this cover. It looks like an indie comic though, to be 100% honest, so that's sort of exciting. Yeah, let's sort of take a look. So, this is a Dragon Whisperer issue number 1 of 4, priced at $3.95 US. This is a part of the Red5 comics and everything, so this is like pretty indie to say the least, I think, just based off of like, I've never heard of Red5 comics before and everything. I do like the cover though. I like the little steampunk vibe and everything, and I like the fact that we're getting an indie comic, like it's because like it sort of at least expands the knowledge and everything. This is pretty cool though. I like it. You got sort of the robot here and everything sort of standing there, and then you also as well have like the sort of boat and everything, and yeah, and then the person with the sort of shocked expression. It sort of gives me that like sort of steampunk vibes, but also at the same time it gives me this sort of like Spiderman noir type vibes as well. But yeah, it's good. I've never heard of it, but in the recap section we'll talk about that and why it was added into the box. Lastly but not least, so we got our last comic here, comic number 5. Let's take a look at it. Boom. Ooh, okay, I know what this one is immediately. Ooh, okay, this is awesome. So this is Wolverine issue number 1. This is this is a new ongoing series that they're doing with Wolverine. I don't think he's had an ongoing series for about 2 years or so. And they're coming back with it just after the events of House and Powers of X. To be 100% honest, Wolverine isn't really my favorite X-Men. And everything, I don't like love him. I feel like as much as I love Hugh Jackman's interpretation and even the certain comic runs I've read with X-Men in it, I feel like I just feel like slightly annoyed by him, just as like I like the other characters. I find them a bit more interesting and a bit more dynamic. Like I like Gambit or Nightcrawler. I really like Nightcrawler. But yeah, those are probably my favorite mutants. But like, I don't mind. I'll definitely read the first issue of this and everything. And yeah, I really like this cover though. It's pretty sick. You got the little like X crotch belt, and then you also got the like him with like this all red cover. Ooh, that looks nice. It's priced at $7.99 US, and yeah, like this is pretty sick. Like I like this, and it's a hefty book. It has some weight to it. Like this is something you gotta sneak into your carry-on if you want to go flying. Even though nobody should be flying right now, to be 100% honest. But ooh, this is like a thick, heavy comic and everything. So yeah. Those are all the comics in this month's box. I'm going to move forward to the recap section. Keep in mind, the recap section will be audio only, not visual or anything, just because it takes some time just to do some research on why these comics are important or why they were put into the box. So if you want to stick around for the recap section, feel free to do so. If you want to know a bit more information on why these comics were put into the box, because as I've said in past videos, they've gotten rid of the recap card and everything. So yeah, that's all the comics in this month's box. And yeah, hopefully, please stick around for the recap section starting right now. Hey everyone, welcome to the second half of the video where I recap all the comics in this month's box and determine why they were put into the box. So let's take a look at the comics. Comic number 1 is Dragon Whisperer, issue number 1 of 4. The comic is published by Red5 Comics, which is a new publishing company for me and I believe for this box. It's good to see a smaller comic book publisher appear in this box. Now, with this comic, the story revolves around an airship trying to find the world of monsters and dragons in a steampunk era. This comic is a Stadium Comics exclusive that only has 200 copies printed. The comic is priced at $13.94 USD on the Stadium Comics website, but I think you could probably sell the comic for about 20 bucks if in high grade, for it being exclusive and as well for it not being well known. Besides that though, my thoughts about this comic are is it's a cool exclusive, but I think I will invest time in future I don't think I'm going to invest time in future books in this series since it feels out of my sort of preferred genres I like to read. Comic number 2 is a new series about one of Spider-Man's love interests. It is Gwen Stacy, issue number 1. Now, this comic actually looks interesting since the comic is an origin story for Gwen Stacy. I like this comics for the reason that you can do a lot with this character since her father is the head of police. So I feel like you could develop new stuff around organized crime in New York and her perspective around it. Now, this comic is a variant done by Ji Hung Lee, and if you have the Virgin variant, this comic could price for around $90 in high grade, but because this variant isn't a Virgin variant, it's worth around $5 in high grade, which is okay because I do like this cover. It is actually really nice. Moving forward to comic number 3, it is Flash Forward, issue number 6. Now, this comic is the final issue in the Flash Forward series, with this comic having a really great premise of Wally West having to decide whether or not to save the day or his family, as a barrier to the dark multiverse is going to break. Now, this comic interests me since it has a surprise ending, but as well it has Wally West, who's probably one of my favorite DC characters since he's very witty, but also he's like a giant ball of energy and everything. So I'm excited to see how he will handle this event. Now, this comic is a D cover, and I really like this D cover. But also this comic sells for highs of $8, which is great. Since compared to the A cover, which sells for only $4 highs, it's good to have a comic that actually sells for a bit more than the actual A cover itself. So I gotta say, I think this is a good pick for this month's box. Up next, we're getting a little dark, or as this series would say, noir. Spider-Man Noir, issue number 1. This comic is one of the comics that I'm excited for since this is one of the characters from Into the Spiderverse that seems to be the most interesting. Now, this comic follows a noir Spider-Man who goes to Europe after one of his dames is murdered at the Black Cat nightclub, leading to a globe-trotting adventure. Now, this comic's preview pages, they look awesome. The pages I've seen are awesome. They're all black and white, going full committed to the noir. And I love this since it has such a great feel and it's very different from a classic Spider-Man tale. Now, this comic retails for $4 highs, but I would say that based off of the recent success of the Spiderverse movie, this comic could potentially have a spike in sales later depending on the movie. the movie speculation, or around Spiderverse 2 or the potential TV shows that may be speculated. Also, I gotta say, I love the detail in the Black Cat nightclub, because like Black Cat in The Amazing Spider-Man, and like her being a character and her sort of being relevant in this series as well. So yeah, gotta shout that out. Lastly but not least, comic number 5 is Wolverine issue number 1. This comic is a new Wolverine ongoing series done by Marvel. Cause you know, you gotta have an ongoing Wolverine series at least once every other year. But I digress. This comic follows Wolverine post the House and Powers of X event, having a nice and peaceful life, having the perfect life, as one may say, having everything he wanted, and which also means he has everything to lose. Now, this comic is priced at the regular price, which is high of $8 for this first issue, unless you have one of the variants, which would be more for its exclusivity, but I don't expect this regular cover to go up in price. Overall though, this comic is one that I don't know if I'm going to follow, because to be honest, I'm not really a huge Wolverine fan. With all that being said, these are the comics in this month's subscription box and my thoughts about each comic. Let me know down below in the pinned comment in the description what your favorite comics are from this month's box, and also what comics are you reading right now, because I think I need some quarantine books to read. Besides that though, feel free to check out the comic of the week, Miles Morales Spider-Man issue number 8. I really love this issue. I wasn't sure if I was gonna follow it, but it had like a really good twist in issue number 7 and 8, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna follow it. But check the description a bit more on why I thought this was the comic of the week. And besides that though, bye, have a good night, stay safe, stay informed, all that kind of stuff, and yeah, I'll see you guys sometime soon.